How to install Hardie board easy, tile professionally, grout quickly.
This is the floor we'll be doing today, a 13 by 13. I show you to clean the floor thoroughly. Here I'm removing the pin so I can take the door off. Blue tape will protect your carpeting. I do this at all my installations. As you can see, I'm using my tape measure to mark off, put a mark on the floor so I can stop the spreading of thinset at these points. You best to remember to add water in the bucket here. You'll get clumps. It won't be thoroughly mixed. Oh, Ragnar's going to town smearing this thinset. As you can see, I'm doing my best to make a round circle so I can cut it out. This is where your artist technique comes in. Be sure to walk around on your board. I've learned to use my tape measure over the years to make straight lines as long as you have 2 marks. You know, sometimes I'll use my knife to cut the backer board, but when I get lazy, I like the old grinder. Yeah, it sure makes a dusty mess, but man, it's kind of fun doing this, making a mess and just blasting away with the old grinder, and then snapping his board that's cool. Well, Ragnar's using roofing nails and fiberglass tape to tape it. Right here, what I'm doing is mixing up the tile. It's recommended to do this, so Ragnar's got a 6-foot, 4-foot square to check this floor out before we start setting the tile. And this room is pretty square. And we checked all 4 corners.
I'm going to go to use 1/2 inch.
Here we're working as a team. One guy smearing thinset, setting the tile, the other guy marking cuts, going down the saw and doing the cuts. As you watch me on the saw, I gauge this cut, so when I go back up I can see if it fits, and I can come back down to my saw and just make 2 or 3 more if needed be, or change it to fit the changing wall. Like I said, setting that gauge is a beautiful thing. You just come right down your saw and cut 2 of them quickly. So use that gauge, man, and make sure you got a lot of water in this saw. You see how much I got going? Because if you don't have a lot of water, what happens to the blade, it heats up and it binds and starts to tile, breaking up and dulling the blade. And this is how you mark out for a round cut. You get 4 points on your tile, you make a square, and you just draw the circle in between it. Then you take it to your old trusty grinder and you let the blade do all the work. This is how you cut a round hole in the middle of a tile. Pretty simple once you know the trick. Keep it on a bucket so when you're done, I love when my round cuts fit perfectly.
I'm showing the edge of the stone. It's going on the top.
Well, worked out perfectly. The existing leg on a tile is high enough for my tile to slip underneath. Now's the time to take the edge away as you start working on the next row of tile. Falls right in. What he's looking for is that stoned edge. And he found it and he's going to put it on the tub. Make sure when you set this tile to push down firmly and kind of give it a little movement in there to make sure it's seated in the thinset. That's what Ragnar is doing right here. And when you begin, remix the grout. Kind of be stiff, so and just try to fill in all the joints the best you can. As you see me, I'm just going at a 45-degree angle, try to keep it as clean as you can, and I even use my fingers sometimes.
Wait about 5-10 minutes, maybe 20.
Use the pointer to cut around your edges, and just use your sponge. You don't need a lot of water, especially on tile like this. Porcelain, It doesn't set up a lot, so don't use a lot of water and just scrub a dub. Hit the subscribe today. Tools needed: level, flat trowel, pencil, knee pads, knife, tape, pointer, square, and brush. Grinder, drill, hammer, sponge, 3/8 notch trowel, 1/2 inch notch trowel, 1/8 inch spacer.